This is cool. This is like our first official meeting and get together.
You're my idol. You're a star.
We're social media besties. You're the first person on a podcast where I've really never met outside of social media, so this is really cool. What is it that you do and specialize in?
Yes. So I actually am the founder, the president, and chief creative officer of Priority Marketing. So Priority Marketing is in its 31st year. We are a full-service marketing, advertising, public relations, digital marketing company.
Whoa.
We have 59 team members now in our company, and we represent about 250 clients in all industry sectors.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack there. First of all, congratulations. 31 years is a long time of doing anything. And if you really want to be good, real high level at something, you need to, I think they talk about 10,000 hours.
Right.
And it sounds like you've got well more than your 10,000 hours, so you really start to hone in your craft. But out of all the stuff you do, I produce a lot of content through my phone to promote opportunities for myself and our company. But you're doing this at a larger scale to brand businesses, awareness, maybe direct marketing, a lot of different facets. What's your favorite component of that business? Is it the creative? Is it the filming? What part?
I would say the greatest part of the marketing business is really the strategy side, building strategy for our clients, which is all custom. We don't have a cookie cutter approach to marketing. When we represent a client, which we do in all industry sectors, we really want to understand their business, what they're trying to accomplish, what their goals are, and then build a strategic marketing plan that might have a variety of components, no two the same, that really helps them accomplish their goals and their objectives. And so building that piece of it, building the strategy, building the plan, and then helping them grow their business. Just growing business is what makes me so passionate.
That's cool.
I love the creative piece of it, the creative direction side, the brainstorming, the art direction, the creative direction. I love all of that piece of it, and that's why that's really my focus in the business, besides growing the business, is as Chief Creative Officer.
That's really cool. You can almost feel the passion and energy that you have for it. In 31 years, have you seen the mediums change drastically from, the traditional radio, newspaper, print ad, TV, and now this social media component? What's your take on that? Give us your 2-second take on that.
Well, I have the interesting experience of, since my career, which is 39 years this year, I've been in marketing and public relations. So when I started my career, there were no computers, no cell phones, no voicemail, no fax machines. There was really no technology. We wrote longhand or on typewriters, and so that's how I started my career. When I started my business 31 years ago, the fax machine was the revolutionary new technology.
Oh.
So when I started my company, I thought I was really cool because I bought a fax machine and Windows had just come out. I had a dial-up modem. AOL was the only email provider. And so email was still kind of this new technology.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And Windows, thank God, came out, because before that, when I worked in my corporate job, I was using DOS-based.
Wow, we're really starting to date ourselves.
So
I'm with you, but
I'm sure
DOS.
many of your listeners don't even know what DOS is.
Yeah, Google it.
Prompt it.
Google
Those
it.
prompts. But so I have seen such an evolution in my career, my entire career, but in the life cycle of my business. And so it really is interesting because I started my career in TV. And TV obviously is part of a traditional media mix. TV, radio, outdoor, magazines, newspaper, that's all traditional media. Today, with new media, which is really the digital side, you have social media, you have digital advertising, you have all the things that are online, web-based, all kind of new media opportunities, YouTube, streaming, those things. Those now come into play. It's an interesting time that we live in, because, and I tell many of my clients this, I call it a transition age.
100%.
Because you still have consumers that are traditional media consumers.
Right.
And depending on what generation they fall in, they are still those traditional consumers, and they still watch TV, traditional broadcast, not streaming, but broadcast TV, cable TV. They still read the newspaper. They still read magazines and periodicals. And so you have a segment that's still, and they didn't grow up with technology. And then you have this whole new generation coming up. And then you've got kind of that in-between generation, which, like me, which still has traditional, but still has an age of learning the new media. So it's a very, very interesting time in the marketing and advertising business because it's transitional. And so you have to be able to know from a strategic standpoint what is going to work for your customer and know who their audiences are to know what to utilize in their marketing plan.
And I imagine you guys, when you're developing these plans, you have mechanisms in place to help measure whether it's working or not. I know there's a bunch of technical terms, maybe KPI. I don't even know what any of that means. But
KPIs.
KPIs. Mm-hmm. I do chuckle when you're talking about transition time because not only am I aware of that, I feel I fall in the same category, more heavier on the social because I love it and I'm addicted to it. But internally in our business, I'm going to use my father as an example. He is reluctant to some of the social media I might put out or the company might want to put out because that wasn't something done in his era. And so it seems out of place. But this is the same person that'll say, Keith, if it feels uncomfortable, it means you're growing and that's good. But they're very passionate about the media and the message that they're putting out. It can almost be old school, if you will. I like that, and I know we have customers like that, but my architectural glass, Jay and I's kind of venture that we started 5 years ago, has only been based 100% on social media. We haven't done any of the other advertising. It was kind of going to be a beta test for the My Shower Door brand. And it is not only worked unbelievably, but it's opened so many other doors that we didn't even know existed like this. This is our new way of cold calling. I was a little late this morning because yesterday we had a customer walk in. He was an attorney. He wants to do glass offices everywhere because of the noise and confidentiality that they want to provide for their clients. And he needed to use the bathroom. He comes back and he saw this and he was completely intrigued. He said, oh yeah, we do a podcast. I said, would you like to do one? I'd love that. And we had a conversation. I was there this morning measuring, it was a almost $40,000 job. And I would argue it's the social media component that made it very, trustworthy or solidified what we were doing because we're willing to put ourselves out there. So I think it's a necessary component for the future growth of a lot of businesses.
I agree. I think you do such a fabulous job for your company. Truly, you are. And when I was at the beginning, I wasn't teasing. I said, you're really my idol. I think you in this marketplace truly do social media better than just about anybody that I know. And you are not.
What makes you
afraid,
say that?
Because you are one. You're so engaging. You're funny. You are not afraid to be silly. And so you take a great mix and a blend of kind of that traditional approach, serious, more little conservative, not so much conservative with you, but conservative from the standpoint of you're not at the edge, you're not pushing the envelope, you're not doing crazy stuff. More what I would say traditional messaging, presentation, different things. And then you do extreme things, shock value, that a lot of people, one, wouldn't fit their brand, or couldn't pull off. And so you're able to pull it off, and even if it's kind of shocking and makes you go, oh, okay, you go, oh, that's Keith. Oh, yeah. And it's like that's part of the whole personality, the persona that I think works. And so that's really kind of doing all sides of it. And you do video, and you do a lot of video, which obviously is the most engaging component to use on social media. You're really, really great at that. So I think just so many things, truly, I congratulate you on because you do a fabulous job.
I appreciate that, and that means a lot coming from somebody in your position to me, because you probably wouldn't be surprised, but the amount of naysayers, it pales in comparison to the amount of positive I get, but it's amazing how many people are very quick to critique. And I feel as I'm doing more and more of it, I'm becoming more strategic on how I do it. So I know it looks a lot of times slapstick, but there is a strategy, if you will, and it's only getting tighter. But what really pushed me over the edge to even be willing to put myself out there was a statistic that I read, something very innocuous, but it gave me an epiphany. It said a new opportunity is 6 times more likely to do business with you if they like you.
Of course.
And, when you start thinking about 6 times, now I can't dictate whether you like me or not, but I can dictate whether I'm likable. And I find everybody likes to laugh. We all have to work, and why not have fun while you work? And if I can be that, I don't want to say shining light, but if I can show, look at, this guy can still be a high-level salesperson, create a very good business, strong business, good culture, and brand yourself while doing that and having fun. To me, I'm winning. And come to find out, what it's done was, you remember Dale Carnegie?
Of course.
And one of his white papers was, on average, with a new opportunity, you needed 5 to 7 interactions before you could build enough rapport to equal trust. Well, what I ended up finding out, Jay and I, was we're doing 5 videos a day. We're getting 30 touches a week. We are building this innocuous rapport. And we saw that the number of deals that we were actually closing on our first and second opportunity were staggering versus 5 years ago. It was the Dale Carnegie. But the social media approach kind of innocuously started filling that void of the rapport building. Clients didn't even know it. They already felt comfortable the second they walked in because we watch. Sometimes they don't even say it. I think it's just an unintended consequence, if you will, of producing all social media.
It's because they feel like they already know you.
Which I think is the biggest untold rub with social media. Everybody's chasing the viewership, and I go down that rabbit hole too because it's an easy measure. But at the end of the day, if you say, Keith, you're only going to get 100 views a month, but 98 of them are going to buy from you, I would jump at that and wouldn't care about going viral, right?
Right.
And so we're seeing that happen. And so, but you can't even enjoy that opportunity if you're not willing to put yourself out there. So do you believe fear is probably the biggest reason holding people back from doing that?
I think people are afraid. I think they don't know what to do. They're afraid to even start. A lot of people aren't comfortable because they know, okay, quote, the world's going to see me. What if I make a fool of myself? They're a lot of times it's fear of making a fool of themselves, or not coming off perfect. Many people want just to be perfect, and they want this perfect persona, perfect personality. And I think that's such a mistake. Going back to what you said about Dale Carnegie, that was basically an old statistic. 5 to 7 touches. It takes more than that now. And even from an advertising standpoint, the frequency of impressions is so much greater because there's such a deluge of messaging coming at us. And so it's much higher than that now.
Yep.
So that's where having those impressions using social media really helps you fill that gap because it isn't just about 5 to 7 anymore. It really takes more than that. But the likability factor is key, period. In people doing business, people do business with people they like, that they trust, that they think are credible. And that is really what it's all about. That's where the relationship building piece of it, which you're doing some of that, again, through the social media channels.
Well, yeah.
But people feeling like, okay, you know what you're talking about. Oh, he's so funny, and I like him. I don't know him, but I like him. He seems trustworthy. They've got this great business.
Ding, ding.
They're successful. And so when you do meet somebody, they come in, all of those things, those pieces already are there.
Where a lot of the people before that would come in, do you need help? No, we're just looking. We're just looking has disappeared in our showroom because I think we're just looking means we want to make sure you guys aren't creeps. You're not going to be like every other car salesman, used car salesman, no disrespect, but I think everybody knows what I'm talking about. And that social media component is literally taking that off the table.
Right.
But there has to be consistency, like anything else, right?
That's right.
Okay, let me ask you this. A business owner sees this and says, you know what? we need to get over this fear factor, and we need to jump into marketing ourselves through social media. And maybe we want to start a podcast, and we're going to invite our potential clients in on a podcast. Could they retain your services to not only help with setting up the podcast, editing the podcast, creating shorts to, create that funnel that you're probably going to do with their website and all the other print marketing? Could somebody come to you and start that?
Absolutely. And so whether it be a podcast, whether it be a video series, doing shorts is really, really powerful. For my own company, for about 3 years, we have been doing what we call FAQ Fridays, where we have different team members. It's all about, in terms of marketing, in terms of business, you're looking to build credibility. From our standpoint, that's where a role and a position that obviously that we have and that we want to continue to retain, but of the place of credibility, of expertise, of the leader, the thought leader in marketing related knowledge and information. And so we started producing FAQ Fridays, where we just do a short little 1 minute, some kind of tip on something related to marketing, advertising, public relations, might be special events. We just did one on AI. It's all different topics. And so
I love that.
It's meant to, one, show our team. Almost every single team member in our company.
So you're building rapport.
Does it. And so we build, for me as the owner of the company, my name is not on the company. It's not about me. I don't care if they know me or not. My team is such a talented team of experienced professionals. It's about them knowing my fabulously talented team.
Of course.
And so everyone just about in the company participates in these FAQ Friday videos. And so it's just a little tip. It's something that a business person, an individual, a practitioner, could be a small business owner, it could be a marketing person, that they can use and perhaps just get a little bit of information that helps them.
It only takes, I told you, the whole reason that started all this was that one little tip I got. And I think it was from Gary Vee, who is kind of my mentor to kind of push me along. Okay, so they can come do that with you. Does you and your team, what I'm starting to pay attention to now is like I do all the different, I'm in all the platforms. I'm trying to do, social media is such a new thing comparatively speaking to all the other mediums that there's things that we start stumbling across that haven't even existed yet, right? That's what I really like about it. But I'm seeing the opportunity with some of the people that we do business with, or my vendors, where I buy material from. There's sponsorship opportunities. There's influencing opportunities.
That's right.
And are you guys keeping that in mind, even though someone's just starting, nobody knows who they are, you're looking 3, 4, 5 years out into the future. If we're going on this trajectory, here's some things that we could be looking at in year 3, 4, and 5.
Absolutely. It's really important. And especially if it's a small company or startup, which we work with companies of all sizes, that you do sometimes have to do phasing, to do, build a trajectory for them that's going to be able to pace with what they're comfortable with their business, with their revenues, et cetera. But it's always about, so not only from a financial standpoint, in terms of programs that you execute for them, but looking forward for them in terms of what's trending, what's coming, what's applicable for them. We do a lot of work right now with influencers, with under our PR standpoint, our PR and social, working with influencers, working with sponsorships.
Can you share a story with us where you had a business where you guys recognized, holy shit, you have something here, you're an influencer, and we're not going to brand you that way and market and bring in dollars off of the content we're producing for you. Do you have a story that you could share where you see this happening?
We're working with influencers.
I see.
So if we have a client, right? If we have a client that we are working on, let's just say a launch. So for instance, an example of, we work with many restaurants.
Okay.
So Ocean Prime, high-end, if you've been on a fabulous restaurant, high-end steak, seafood restaurant, Fifth Avenue, Naples.
Beautiful wine cellars, by the way. We did some work on them.
Beautiful wine cellars.
Yeah.
They're a nationwide brand, part of
high-end.
Cameron Mitchell Restaurant Group. They have 18, this is their flagship brand, Ocean Prime. So when we launched Ocean Prime for them in Southwest Florida, we worked with influencers that were in the space of foodies.
Oh.
And so we did social media, we did PR, we did VIP events, we did all of those things as well. But then we worked with influencers that had great followings and that were in that foodie space.
I see what you mean now.
Yes. And so utilizing that, that's a component of social media
course.
that doesn't work for all businesses.
Yes, yes.
But it's really powerful because they become then ambassadors for your brand.
It's massive.
And it was really effective. We've done that for many restaurant clients. Foodies and restaurant related kind of influencers are some of the most popular. And then retail products also, are great brands that can be utilized social media influencers.
Do you see though, let's say you were working with My Architectural Glass and we know nothing about marketing, which we don't. We kind of learn everything the hard way. And you start filming and you're getting consistent with this company for a couple of years and you recognize before they do themselves, like, this is something bigger here and we need to utilize that not only to help grow your brand, but this is going to be fruitful for everybody. Are you keeping an eye out for that? Like
Absolutely.
almost, because what an opportunity to farm talent. So you don't know what you don't know, right?
Right.
And sometimes it takes someone else to see that. So you and your team are actively looking for that, or just being
Absolutely.
aware?
No, actively looking for it. We are constantly looking for opportunities for our clients. And so we will make recommendations to them. Might be something new. It might be something that's not part of their current marketing mix.
That's so cool.
Something that we think, that is to me the responsibility. If we are their marketing partner, it's no different than if you have a marketing department that's in your company, you expect them to be coming with recommendations for the best and for the betterment of their company.
That's well said.
And so that's how we work with our clients. We are the extension of their marketing team. Some have marketing departments that we work alongside of. Many do not. We become their marketing department. We become their marketing directors. And so it really just depends on, but even those that have internal marketing departments, we are still making recommendations to them. Now, they certainly can say, we don't want to do that. No, it's not time, we don't have the money, whatever it might be. But our responsibility is always looking out for their best interests, understanding what their goals are, how to help them grow their business and be successful.
Okay, so let's drill down on that. You've been doing this long enough to know when something in your gut is like, this is going to be bad. But a customer and their business could sometimes be more powerful than a child, in their nurturing a business. Where are you on standing on what you believe in, which when you know something's going to work, but yet you have to kind of go with kid gloves with the client? Are you willing to stand on what you believe in, or how do you handle that?
100%. I am never afraid to stand on what I believe in.
Good for you.
Whether it be personal or professional.
Good for you.
And so there are clients that will be resistant, but again, it doesn't negate the responsibility to give them the best counsel, the best advice. And obviously we can't force them to do something, but you can't, I'm a believer in that sometimes you just have to plant enough seeds until it germinates. And then that idea, that suggestion, that recommendation comes to fruition. Sometimes the client totally buys in. Sometimes, you have to keep planting seeds, have to keep having that conversation, have to keep pressing in. And then sometimes you do that long enough, and then if they think it's their idea, then...
I was going to say, sometimes you just got to repackage it.
Exactly. So, we've seen all of those scenarios. We are respectful in the approach, but also firm in our belief of what we think is right and best for them.
That's smart. And I think if anybody sees this, I think there's a distinct difference between manipulating somebody and persuading somebody. And the difference is your intentions. And after meeting you for only 10 minutes, I can tell you have very good intentions. You've built a big business. You've been around 31 years, small town, name travels quick. And you could tell your intentions are very well. And so I think you should never split the difference. You should always write on what you believe in. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's, our intentions, and truly I can say, we are about working for our clients and working in their best interest, we never, ever make a recommendation that's in our best interest, ever. We are about them, about what suits them, and it's not about, oh, what's going to be best for us or what's going to make us money. Never. I can tell you in 31 years, never have we done that.
It's a short bag.
It's a very short bag.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. It's not integritous. And we are truly, that's why we have very, very long-term clients, because we care about them. We are working in their best interest. We really care about them. We have relationships with them, and we celebrate their success. That's what we're working for.
That's cool. All right, so let's market right now to the people that I've done the leadership classes. I'm sure you've done it at different networking groups. There's a lot of people starting a business, entrepreneurs, and they're just starting. They have a product or service. They want to get it out to the world. They obviously are consumed with all the fear, but they do have a cell phone. What are some of the best practices for somebody that's starting a business today to start getting their name out? Like, what are some things that you would tell your kids if they were starting a business today that, from a marketing standpoint, this is what you must do?
Well, first of all, you need to make sure that you get good counsel and advice from professionals. When I say professionals, I'm talking about attorneys, CPAs. Many people start businesses and they don't understand and they don't get the right counsel from professionals. The other thing, many times we've run into businesses that they start a business and they give zero thought about marketing. They'll open a storefront, they start a business, they think that that business is just going to come to them, and they literally give no thought to marketing. Once you open your doors, once you start, if you have given no thought to that, you're already way behind. But a lot of people are afraid and they think marketing costs so much money. It just is too expensive. I can't do that. So that's why they just think I don't need to do it. Or I've been really good at this, so I'm just going to go start my business. In business, first of all, relationships are number one. So if you don't have a big budget, get out and start meeting people. Network. Start paying attention of who's in your space. Who do you admire? Who's an inspiration to you? What are they doing in business? What are they doing on social media? What are they doing out in the community? Just start paying attention and emulating people that are successful and look at what they're doing. There's no shortcut for networking and building relationships. Get out, start meeting people. That doesn't cost you anything. Start telling people what you're doing. Start setting up meetings, have breakfast, have lunch. Start telling people who are connected to people that what your business is, sharing with them. Those things don't cost you anything but time. And then from there, really get with someone who's trustworthy, who's not going to try to sell you something, who can give you good counsel from a marketing standpoint, honestly, to say, what do you have that you can spend in marketing? And then let them give you advice on right now where you are, what you can start layering on. You don't have to come out with a big marketing plan, spend tons and tons of money, but you have to do some work yourself. You have to be responsible for the relationship piece, the networking piece, the foundational things of your business to make sure they're sound, and then partner with a trustworthy professional that will help guide you, even if it's at a slow pace. And also remember that it takes time. It takes time to build a business. It takes time to build awareness and be patient with that.
Awareness is such a good word. We've been talking about that on podcast. But you're right. There is no shortcut. Before social media, Doug, Bill, my father Bill, and myself and mother would go to there's still functions every night around. I know who's definitely at these functions the most. Connie, she's another person in your space. I see her. I see you. I see everybody out, the usual suspects. But that's where you make those good relationships, and that is important to go. I don't know why a lot of more people don't take advantage of that. That's really how we built our business.
Right.
And then I found someone, like you said, that I want to emulate. Like, I like how this person approaches business. I want to be like them. I want to talk to the people that they're talking to. And started leveling up pretty quickly. Coming from zero education, not having any business acumen, but I did steel hardened steel type of thing, like, you know, game recognizes game. And I think that's really good advice. Or what else is going, what do you see happening here in the near future with Mark? Anything revolutionary that you guys are anticipating or expecting to happen? Where's your podcast? How come you don't have a podcast? You have a lot to share. You're energetic.
We do. We have plans in the works right now. Yes. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Coming soon. And do you utilize YouTube?
We do. Yes. And that's where all of our videos live as well for our FAQ Fridays and obviously.
What's the name of the YouTube channel?
Priority Marketing.
Priority Marketing. How many subscribers do you have?
I don't know.
I find that YouTube, I'm addicted to YouTube right now. It was the last thing I started. I think I'm like 350 subscribers, but unlike all the other platforms, you have to earn and continue to earn
That's right.
your following. Whereas all the other ones, I can send you requests and usually kind of trigger that reciprocity. Well, I'll follow them back. And so it's just a matter of throwing enough shit against the wall. Where on YouTube, you have to perform.
That's right.
I like that because I know most people are going to quit and I'll go until I die.
Yeah.
But I also know the barrier to entry for monetizing, you don't need as much of a following, but it is harder to acquire that. So trying different things, we're always trying to draw attention back to the YouTube.
Well, the interesting thing about YouTube is the other huge benefit.
What is it?
That YouTube is the #2 search engine.
Oh.
Google, #1, YouTube, #2. And so being on YouTube and really understanding how to use it with tags and using it and understanding it for
The
SEO.
titles. So YouTube. I know this because anytime I don't know the lyrics to a song or movie, anything that I normally wouldn't go to Google, I go to YouTube because I want to see a video or a clip. And so the way you title your videos is massively important, hoping to catch the wave of what, wow, that's smart. And so what about the thumbnails? Does the thumbnails come into play as well?
Absolutely. Yeah, because the goal is you want to keep people engaged too. And so all of that is part of that engagement on your channel.
So when you see a lot of these people, like I like to use Joe Rogan as an example because I consider him a professional. He's just an intriguing man. He's a masculine guy, but yet very docile and empathetic and curious. And I don't know, it's just captivating to watch. But what I notice is most of the stuff I watch from them are shorts. But if I see a short where I'm like, I really like this person, that will have a direct link to the full.
That's right.
So now that's a good strategy, huh? So we should film this podcast, edit it, upload the podcast, but then out of that, take all the shorts kind of as a teaser.
That's right. Shorts are very, very popular, very effective.
Wow. Mm-hmm. I love the strategy, and so that's constantly evolving.
That's right.
How much time do you spend in with you and your team kind of, strategizing?
Well, our strategizing is about our clients. And so our team is constantly, because we have about 250 clients, and so we're constantly strategizing every day about multiple clients every day. And then we're executing strategy, obviously, so it never stops.
Is there, out of all those clients, is there a certain sector or niche or type of client that you'd prefer? I don't want to say that you have a favorite because I wouldn't do that to you, but let's say anybody that is watching this that might be a new viewer for you and says, wow, I would like to do business with them. Who is your ideal client? Somebody that's open to allowing you to drive the marketing ship, or?
Yeah, I think first of all, we have an amazing company culture, and we have shared values that are really critical to us. So the ideal client to us, we don't care if they're a startup, we don't care if they're a large business, we don't care what industry sector, but that they really also share the same values that we do. And we've had people come to us that we did not feel like were the right fit, did not feel like they shared the values that we share, and we wouldn't do business with them. So I'm a firm believer that you are judged by the company you keep, and that includes even businesses. And if they're not integritous, upright,
I know what you're saying. That's good.
companies and individuals.
You got a short leash on that.
Yeah. And so that's really, really important to us.
Stand for something or fall for anything.
Exactly. And so,
you.
we're not about chasing money. We're about working with quality people, whether they be our team members or they be our clients. Quality people who have mutual respect and who from our standpoint, allow us to be their partner. We don't want somebody that's just like, oh, we're just going to tell you what to do and go do it. Can we do that? Of course. But it's a partnership. When we come alongside a company, we want to know their pain points. We want to know what makes them excited. We want to know what they're passionate about, what their goals are. We want to know all of those things. And so it's really being able to have that relationship with our clients, small or large, that allows us to do that and allows our team to do that. That's how we're successful, that's how we've been successful, and that's how we've helped businesses be successful.
Would I be a nightmare for you guys?
You would not.
Okay, what else? Any family working in the business with you?
Yes, thank you for asking. So I started my company. I don't know if you know my story.
I don't.
I started my company.
What's your story?
My story. Here's my story. I'll make it short. So 31 years ago, I had started my career in TV. And then I went from TV to the corporate side.
And when you say you were on TV, you were actor, actress?
Nope.
Or you were the producing side of it?
I was on the promotion side.
Promotion side.
Yes, so I work in the promotions department.
Okay.
And I started there, and then quickly, in about 2 years, I was promoted, and I was director of community services. So at 24 years old, I was
Where was
director
this?
at Wink TV.
Oh.
Yes, and so I did all of the PR, all the special events, all the community relations, community service. That was my job, which I loved it. And I'm born and raised Fort Myers, so I love this community. I was out in the community, had a very, very high profile job, left there after almost 6 years, went to the corporate side, and I worked for...
Why did you do that?
Because at the time, because things in television started changing.
Okay.
And I felt like that I didn't really like the direction as much. Business became much more focused around profits than people. I am a people person.
Good for you.
I am people number one.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
To this day, that is my philosophy. That's what I built my company on. So I really felt like I needed to move on because the organization was changing, and it was really much more profit focused to the sacrifice of people even.
Yeah.
And so I went to the corporate side, and I worked there for about 3.5 years. Again, a really high profile job. It was big corporation, Westinghouse Communities. And I worked there for about 3.5 years as marketing director. And then my husband and I, at that point, had been married about 10 years. And I was expecting our first child, my only child, but expecting a first child. And I was working about 14 hours a day. I truly was there's still media reps in this town that we laugh about it. They would come to my office at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night to have meetings because I had so much on my plate. And I thought, this isn't going to be conducive to having a family. I can't sustain this and have a family. Because for me, my order and my priorities, faith, family, work.
Of course.
That's it.
Yeah.
And so I told my employer that after I have my child, I'm not going to come back. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to stay home. I had zero plan. I did not intend to start a business.
Oh.
No,
Oh.
I did not. All I intended was to be home, be with my daughter, and I didn't even think past that point.
Wow.
It was just that was the most important thing to me. And so about a month in, after having her, she was the perfect child. I mean, just amazing. And I thought, I'm so bored. I got this perfect child, and she sleeps so much, and I can just do a little work. And so
Because you went from 14 hours a day now, I don't want to say to nothing, because obviously, but you had a lot of time on your hands.
Yes. And so I am a very ambitious person,
Yeah.
high energy.
I love it.
I'm a go-go person.
Yeah.
And so I thought I'd just do a little work. And so all I did was make a couple phone calls to people that I knew. And I said, hey, I'm going to do a little freelance work, just freelance PR work. I can do it from home. I can do it with my child. I'm just going to do that. And so my employer, formerly, Westinghouse, was my first client. And so my first client was Denny Grimes and Company, Realtor, and Westinghouse Communities. My first two clients. Denny is still my client to this day. And so they were my first client. Well, Westinghouse was growing so much, then they ended up selling, it became, WCI and continued to evolve. 4 years into my business, I had an employee working from her home, and I had the business in 5 rooms of my house. And I was at a point of feeling like I was holding back a dam. Never having solicited, except make a couple phone calls at the very beginning to say, hey, I'm just going to do a little freelance work. So 4 years in. Oh, so about a month in, though, when I started the company and I started doing a little work, I thought, I need a name.
Yeah.
It's never, ever been about me. I didn't want my name on it. And so I chose Priority because I was doing this because of the priority of my life and the priorities. And I was, this was
That's
occurring.
Cool.
And so that is why I chose the name.
Have you told this story before?
I have many times.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
That makes my hair stand up. That's cool.
And so fast forward, I obviously moved out of my home, got a business, continued to grow, 59 team members to this day, and still, and for me, I still preach that message. I'm still about wanting every single person to have a balanced life. I have a huge number of working mothers that, if you are a professional woman and you are a mother, you have 2 jobs.
Oh, yeah.
And, I have such a heart for working women who are mothers, allowing them, supporting them because they are talented, they are smart, they are capable, they have professional goals too, and they want to be a mother. And you can successfully do both.
Good for you for preaching that.
I am so, that's what I'm very passionate about as well. And then growing people and mentoring people to be the best they can be and be amazing professionals.
So does your spouse or daughter work in the business?
Yes. So thank you. That was your question to begin with. It was a long answer. But so my daughter, Anna, started working with us. She's 31 years old. And she started working with us about 7.5 years ago.
Oh, okay. So this isn't a hobby. We're working.
Yes. So she's one of our social media managers.
Let's go.
And she got married 8 years ago, and she was in Pennsylvania with her husband, and she was working remote with our social and PR team at the time. And then they came back to Florida, and she's obviously in-house, and her husband, Jonathan, is our video manager.
Oh, wow. So you got the whole family.
Yes.
And you know what? Kudos to you for doing that, and 2, for being able to do that. Because I'm a big believer, if you have the ability to work with your family, why would it speaks volumes for people who say, I could never work with my family. Well, you don't love your family? And it is tough. When things are good, it's the best thing in the world. And when things are bad, like nobody wants to be a part of it. So there's more good than bad. But kudos to you to being able to pull that off. It speaks volumes of how you approach business. I feel it's a lot in the same line as us. We work for our people, that Jack Welch mentality. And we love that. And in the beginning, my brother and I my mother had to separate us a few times. But that's just kind of who we are.
Siblings.
Yeah, we're just siblings.
And if you're obviously ambitious and high-strung and competitive and all those things that I'm sure you are.
It comes with it.
It's part of that personality.
100%.
But the one thing about it is I think there are business owners that have family that work in their business, and we all know them, where they just basically have a cushy ride, and they don't carry their own, and they are just given a job. I can tell you that is not the case, that both my daughter and my son-in-law, they stand up on their own as professionals, that the team respects them for their capabilities, not for who they are. And, even when both of them started working, I told them that, the expectation for you is greater.
100%. I hope my daughter Brooke, you're watching this, Daddy tells you all the time, when you come to work with me, you don't want to be known or respected because you're my daughter. You want to be known and respected for how hard of a worker you are. And I'm not the only one that's saying that. You hear it from a professional that's been doing this a lot longer than me. And I think that's important.
Well, a funny story is, so we've had new employees come into the company, and because my daughter's last name is different than mine, we don't just start out by saying,
That's my daughter.
This is the owner's daughter.
Yeah.
And so
That's funny.
there was an instance last year. We had a new employee that came in, and they'd been there for, I don't know, a week or two, and my daughter was talking with this new employee and said, "My mom," and the employee went, "Oh, your mom works here?" And then my daughter.
Oh, so now they're like, okay, wait,
my mom was here? She goes, "Your mom was here?" And she said, "Yes." And she goes, "Who's your mom?" He said, "Teri Hansen." And then the employee's mouth just dropped. Like,
yeah, like,
oh, you
oh,
mean like
fuck.
the owner?
The top,
Okay.
the top of the pyramid.
Yeah.
That's funny. And so your husband is involved in the business?
He is not.
Okay.
Yes, so my husband, he's fourth generation Fort Myers.
Oh, wow.
We are about to celebrate 42 years.
Let's go.
Married. And
All of them have been good?
no. But I don't think there's one single person
Yeah, I
been
agree.
married that would say all have been good, because this is what I tell everybody. I counsel, people getting married, engaged, newlyweds, whatever. It's like there are seasons of life, and all seasons are not great.
Oh.
But you have to remember why you chose this person, why you love them, and what you love about them, because life has challenges. Life has ups and downs. You have human beings, and you put human beings together, you're never going to have everything perfect with human beings.
And we change,
together.
we evolve. What we
And
think's perfect now might
no,
not.
and there's seasons of life. And so when you're young, you're in a season of life. You have children, it's a season of life. If you have health issues that go on, I'm a 22-year stage 3 cancer survivor.
Wow.
You know what? Guess what? That was a season to navigate that we navigated together. Is that fun? No. But we navigated together. And I'll tell you what, we came out stronger on the other side of it. And you really see who you have in a partner when you go through something like that. And so it's, you can't say, oh, it's not all sunshine and roses. It's not. But it is understanding that you are in something together, and that you will persevere, and that you will, you're on a journey together. And that's really what it is. And you're committed to do so. That's how we approach it. Not because, hey, everything's going to always be perfect. And a lot of people, bail out because they don't want to persevere the hard times.
I haven't met your husband, but by the sounds of it, I'm guessing he definitely outkicked the coverage here. Yeah, he's winning here.
Well, what's funny is
He's winning.
He would say that. He tells everybody I outpunted my coverage.
Oh, yeah.
So it's funny you would use that term, because
Okay.
he uses that term all
We're
the
going
time.
to clip that. Teri Hansen, how's it? Definitely outkicked the coverage here. Good one. Good for you, pal.
So he spent 28 years. He worked for Lee County, and he was
doing what?
he started as a paramedic.
Okay.
On the road.
Yep.
And then he came off the road. He was the training officer. He's an amazing communicator. He's extremely smart guy. He is a fantastic teacher. And so he came off the road. He was the training officer for EMS, Emergency Medical Services. And then he became, so he did that. And then he became the head of EMS, the director.
Oh, wow.
And then he was the director of EMS overall. It was about 300 employees. And then he was promoted to deputy director for all of emergency management. And so our public safety, which includes emergency management, EMS, 911 communications, animal control. So he was second in the county, deputy director over all of that public safety. So he did that he worked there for 28 years. And then he retired in 2008. His father was ill. He retired and was able to spend a couple years with him before his dad passed away. In 2010, he ran for, because it's a publicly elected position, Lee Health Board. They are publicly elected in the general election every 4 years. So he ran for the Lee Health Board in 2010 and was elected.
Who was doing his marketing campaign?
Oh, yes. I will tell you, he was the very, very first. In 2010, we were, that I can recall, the first campaign to ever use social media. And
Oh, yeah. Wait, what year was this?
2010.
Can people still see this?
Maybe.
We should put it back to see the evolution of it. So that's cool. 2010.
So 2010.
Yeah,
so then
we're late to the party.
Yeah, so he served.
2010.
2010 was when we first started using social media to
What
market.
platform?
I honestly
Facebook?
can't remember. It was Facebook, I believe, was
Yeah.
the first. Because obviously Instagram didn't exist. We might have used Twitter, built a website for him, but it was really unheard of at the time, especially for a hospital.
Did it take
seat.
traction though?
It did. Oh my gosh, he didn't have any money. We had to self-fund everything, and we didn't have any money to invest. And so we looked for what can we do. The traction, the impressions. It was amazing what we were able to accomplish in about $300. So we did that. So then he was on the health system board for 3 terms. So he spent 12 years serving on the hospital board, and he just came off. So we're proponents of term limits. He said 3 terms is enough, and he decided not to run this year or in 2022. And then 5 years ago, while he was doing the health system, he went back to work, and he is the CEO of Child Care of Southwest Florida, which is they do early childhood education. It's kind of a 3-pronged approach. They do early childhood education and school readiness. They do all of the training for all child care and VPK workers in the region. And they are the facilitators and managers of the federal food program in 24 counties in Florida. So daycare facilities, childcare facilities, schools, churches, different ones participate in this federal food program that provides food to families, children, through their programs. And so the FDA provides this money and food that they then disseminate in 24 counties. So that's the other part of their program. And so he's the CEO of that organization.
Holy smart. I mean, okay, what do you guys do for fun? I don't know if there's time for that, but.
We like to boat.
Oh, okay.
We like to camp.
Oh.
And we love
With amenities, like, my mother calls it glamping. Like, if she's going to go,
yes,
it better
honey.
be.
Yes.
We're
It's
not just
glamp.
pitching
No.
a tent and a fire. No.
No way. No camping. Glamping.
Where do you like to, where's one of the most beautiful places that you say, wow, man, I can't wait to go back to?
There are so many beautiful places. I will tell you,
One of your favorite, one that just sticks out to you.
Well,
You've been to Montana? Big Sky, Montana?
Have not been to Montana. Would love to go to Montana.
Beautiful.
We love North Carolina. We love Blue Ridge
Oh,
area.
Blue
We
Ridge
love
Mountains?
all of that. We had a house there for 20. In fact, we got an RV because we had a house up there.
Yep.
Beautiful mountain view. About 22, 23 years. And then we weren't using it enough, and it was one location. So we decided to RV. We could go anywhere.
Smart.
We still love that area, but Florida has so many beautiful places too, and there's so many state parks and beautiful places here that we like to glamp. Even oceanfront RV parks that are available. So there's so many options.
We did that. We took the kids to Tennessee, I think it was about a year ago. And once you start digging into that world, much like anything else, there's places that are heavily designed for you to show up with your equipment in your RV and enjoy the amenities of that area. I think we did do Blue Ridge. We took a train ride through the mountain. It was really cool.
Probably from Dillsboro.
Yeah, that was really neat. That was fun.
Was it where they filmed?
Yes,
The Fugitive?
yes.
That's from Dillsboro. Our house was not too far from that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So my sister actually lives in that area.
Oh.
Yeah. But then the other thing is with our grandkids, we have 2 fabulous grandchildren.
And are they here in Southwest Florida?
Yes, they are. My daughter and son-in-law, their children. So one is almost 7 and one is almost 3.
And so you have a good relationship with them?
Oh my goodness.
You see them all the time?
Every day.
Oh, okay.
Every
My
day.
mother is like that with my children and my brother's children. Matter of fact, they just left today to take my kids to Turks and Caicos because they somehow conned grandma. I don't know how the hell she fell for this, but they did, and they left this morning, but they're like best friends.
Yes, that's us.
That's cool.
And I was obviously.
Have you met my mother?
I think I met her at one of the events.
I got to put you two together. I feel like you're cut from the same cloth.
Yeah, I met her at the 2 events that we attended.
Oh, that's right. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, is there, in closing, wow, that's an hour. Let me ask you this. In closing, how can people contact Priority Marketing, whether they want to upgrade their marketing services or they're just starting off and they want to start building a brand? Actually, before that, what's the difference between branding and marketing?
Well, marketing is all encompassing. So branding is everything about who you are as a company. It is your personality, it is your identity, it's your positioning, your persona. That is your brand. Marketing is all of the things that you do to basically push out your brand. So marketing includes direct marketing, advertising, public relations, events, community relations, digital marketing, sales, all of that falls under marketing. So it's very comprehensive, but it's all the mechanisms, all the approaches that you use to push out your brand.
That's a perfect clip. We're going to clip that. Okay, so where can everybody find somebody if they wanted to start promoting their brand through marketing, especially with a high-level player?
Yes, absolutely. You can reach us by calling our office.
Yep.
If you like to use the telephone.
Yeah.
Some people like to email. Some people like to call on the phone.
You still got that fax machine?
We do. We do. I even know the number.
Can I send you a fax?
You can send me a fax. I don't know if anybody will see it.
Yeah.
Pull it off the fax. Actually, whenever we get not to digress, but whenever we get a fax, we all start laughing.
That's hilarious.
We're like, somebody send us a fax.
I'm definitely sending you a fax.
Funny. So our phone number is 239-267-2638. Our website, you can visit us, check us out, see a little bit of our work, a little bit of our clients, see who they are, just a little sampling, which is Priority Marketing, all one word, prioritymarketing.com. And you can also email me if you would like. My personal email is Teri, that's with one R, Teri, at prioritymarketing.com.
And Teri's also on LinkedIn. That's where we became best friends, on LinkedIn. And the fax that the team does on Fridays, where is that being posted? Because I want to start watching. Is that on YouTube?
Yes, it is.
And
it's on our website and which feeds through YouTube as well.
Of
Yeah,
course.
FAQ Fridays.
Perfect. All right, well,
You can subscribe.
I'm definitely going to subscribe today. And I appreciate you taking the time to come down here and do this.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. It's been a blast.
Cool. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
That's it.